What is up, Super Fam? I am Sensei Finito, and this is Battery CEO. Welcome to Marvel Bros, where we discuss all things Marvel and everything pop culture. But today we are doing a little review, ain't we, brothers? Let the fam know what we about to be getting into.
Well, we're going to be getting into a wild one. All right. We just got back from the movies. We checked out a movie that we did a reaction to a while back that had
Mm-hmm.
us shook to our core. All right.
Facts.
And we watched it. And this one is titled Everything Everywhere All at Once. And that title, literally, we witnessed that on screen.
Yeah, the movie embodied that for sure.
Uh, I don't even know where to begin. Uh, First off, this movie was incredible. We knew when we watched the trailer this movie was going to be pretty awesome. And then it wasn't until after this we watched the trailer for this that like we started getting into the multiverse stuff of things, like in the new
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man, and then we're getting into Doctor Strange now, and they're like, this movie came out, and they're like, yo, the multiverse aspect of this movie is incredible. This movie just
Mm-hmm.
all of the things I saw online were so positive about it. And then I didn't even
Facts.
know the Rooster Brothers helped produce this movie. Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Which
wild.
makes a lot of sense. Like once you get to the end of everything, it's like, oh, okay, no, that actually I can see that happening.
Mhm.
And this movie was literally incredible, like you said, bro. Like we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into.
Not
Um,
at
but
all.
it was 100% a wonderful time.
I we ac we showed up late to the movie,
Yeah.
but what we
It didn't
from the
even feel
moment
like
we started watching it to
mhm.
the very end, we were like, "Okay, we missed nothing at all."
Literally.
Like, literally the moment we started watching was everything from that point on was very relevant,
Mhm.
and it was gonna be prevalent throughout the entire movie, and
Yeah. It feels like we literally just missed like a conversation.
mhm.
Yeah.
Um, real quick, so how we do things here, 15 minutes, non-spoiler. We probably will have to do a little bit of spoiler stuff because there's no way we're gonna be able to talk about it
Yeah.
without getting into spoilers. So just keep that in mind. If you guys are planning on seeing this, fair warning, we will be going over some spoiler stuff. Just because it's the only way we could talk about the movie. Like it's wild. But for the most part, the first 15 minutes, non-spoiler.
Yeah.
All right.
And yeah, so but like you said though, it's almost impossible to not get into spoilers with this one because it was just so freaking like everything was just crazy, bro. It was like what's happening here? Like where are we? Like what's going on? Can someone hold me please? Like
Yep.
I don't I don't even know. It was crazy.
So first off, the music was incredible. The fight
Mhm.
scenes, incredible. Um, the how they've traversed the multiverse in
Yeah,
their particular world was unlike anything I've ever seen.
facts.
Like it wasn't based off magic; it was based off technology.
Mhm.
And the way they kind of utilized it was funny. I didn't realize this movie was going to be so funny.
Yeah.
And the actors performed really well, and there was actually some very intense emotional moments throughout this whole movie. Like, oh
For
my,
real.
like crushing stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, we were really getting into this stuff like this, and like going from that to the comedy to like the action sequences. It was crazy. It was a wild
Yeah.
ride. It was literally a roller coaster of emotions. That's probably the best way I could put it in
I
terms of
agree with
what we
that
were
100%.
watching. Mhm.
Yeah. Um yeah, man, I agree with you for sure. The way they handled everything when it came to the multiverse and kind of the world building around that multiverse that we got introduced to, it was all really amazing and like I just really wasn't prepared for the level or how deep we were going to be
Mhm.
going with this movie by any means. Like
Yeah.
from the trailer that we got, it didn't seem like this was going to be very heavy on the feels like that, I guess you could say. Like, at least from the first trailer that we originally reacted to, it was like, man, this is going to be an amazing, like, time travel movie. Not time travel, multiverse travel movie of like, I don't even know how this is going to work. But they introduced a lot of new concepts to how even the multiverse works, and everything that even means, and
Yep.
kind of branches out into. I wouldn't be surprised if they got like some help from some Rick and Morty creators, possibly, like everyone has been doing lately. Because
Hmm.
when it comes to these multiverses and all that type of stuff, you really like like what they did was like really spot on almost. Like it was like literally almost
Hmm.
spot on, and I just really wasn't prepared for that. I really
Hmm.
wasn't prepared for that, man. This movie definitely threw me curveballs one after another. I really was never I never knew what to expect from this, man. every
Hmm.
spot every time it was a scene change at one part of the movie, it was just like, what the hell is going on?
Hmm.
Um so you it's just crazy. Like I didn't even realize what was going on. Like literally, bro.
Yeah.
Um it was just blinking and it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
What the hell is this? Who is this? What's happening?
Hmm.
Um the actors were great, to be completely honest. I wasn't expecting that good of acting from everyone,
Yeah.
literally. And Jamie Lee Curtis is in this movie, and
She
she
was
truly did her thing.
like, from the trailer, we see Jamie Lee Curtis. We see her do some crazy stuff from the trailer reaction that we have for this
Mhm.
particular one. But like, I didn't realize how big of an integral character she was going to play throughout this entire thing. We see like 5 or 6 different versions of her, which
Yeah.
is crazy to
Mhm.
even think about. And like we said, the title for this is Everything Everywhere All at Once, and this movie literally embodied that
Yeah.
title. Like, there's really no other way to put it. Like, literally, we saw so many different perspectives, good and bad. We saw it was just wild. Like, it's hard to put in words like the things that we saw, because we probably saw an infinite amount of different possibilities at one point. Like, and we
Yeah.
saw it on screen, and we're like, it was almost overwhelming. Like, that's how crazy it was. Uh,
I also really liked how like the break in reality, I guess you can say, and then being able
mhm,
to see like two different things kind of taking place at the same time,
mhm,
and all those it was incredible, bro. Like, to be honest, bro, I don't have anything to talk about that's not spoilery, to be completely honest. Like,
mhm,
I can't talk about this movie without actually talking about specifics, or else
mhm,
I'm just gonna keep being very bland about everything because
mhm.
that's just how it is. So
Because,
yeah, I
like,
don't
it
know.
literally, like, from the first 5, 10 minutes that we saw, like, it just like, there was an argument, and then all of a sudden we were in the fray. Like, we were we were
Mhm.
fighting a universal enemy
And I
that
think literally all we missed was that beginning argument that really didn't really need to set the tone of
yeah.
anything for us. Like we already understood that they weren't like, you know what I mean? Like we already understood everything that was going on.
Mhm,
Okay, we got to get into spoilers because I can't just keep walking on eggshells, bro. It
mhm.
just cannot happen. Um
Alrighty. I'm ready, man.
yeah, so this is the spoiler section. So that's what we're going to talk about now. Big spoiler vibes in the chat, just so you know. Where is the spoiler alert? Is that it? Here we go. Wow. There you go. So this is the spoiler alert. The time is now. I see we got Remy and Akash in the chat talking
How's it
about what
going,
time
guys?
it is. Uh Akash says I waited for Stranger Things for a long time and I forgot all about it. So would you guys make a recap of all the seasons one by one?
Oh,
Uh
Jesus.
not episodes, seasons. Um I don't know about one by one, but I wouldn't mind going live, and just talking about Stranger Things.
Mhm.
I'd probably have to give it a rewatch or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I definitely would need to rewatch, because a lot has happened,
Hmm.
from season 1 to season 3. So,
Facts. um Akash said, wait, 1K already? That's right, baby.
oh, yeah, man. 1K. Finally hit it after so long, in
It's
such a
been a
short time.
journey and a half.
Yep. But
Yeah, and it has been a short time because even especially when you start thinking about like
past
we were
6
just
months,
on
man.
Facebook at first, like we weren't even on YouTube like that for the whole 3 years that we've been doing Marvel Bros. But
Okay.
yeah, bro, this movie, um, when they first introduce us to the main character,
Yep.
can't think of her name, and her husband, and then her whole family basically, and the whole multiversal aspect of what's going on. They're in the elevator, and her husband's body like just does this little twitch
Just
thing,
loses it, and we were, like, all
and then
confused and distraught. We're like, "Oh my god, what's happening? Is he dying? Like, what
and then
what's happening?"
and then he starts talking, but he takes his glasses off, and the whole glasses off thing is something that they use throughout the movie to distinguish when it's the multiversal person of him and when it's the actual him. I think they call him Alpha, like Alpha Wong or something like
Mhm.
that, Alpha One, because they're from the Alpha universe. Okay, it'll go. We'll get there. So he takes over the body and he starts just dropping knowledge on her. It was like, yo, you got to get ready for this. You got to get ready for that. Like, this is
You're in
about to
danger, they're
happen.
trying to kill
You're in
you, like
danger. They're after you. And then it's Jamie Lee Curtis's character that's actually after them. And that was one of her many multiversal characters that we get to
yeah.
see in this movie. And that was already immediately amazing. Like, while she's sitting there talking to the IRS agent and she's kind of getting split but back and forth between the two realities, like at that moment I was like, this movie is gonna be balls to the wall. Like, we're not gonna, this is one of those movies where once it really starts going, you can't take a bathroom break or anything
Nope.
because you're gonna be confused as hell once you get back into the theater. And I was immediately ready for the ride. Like, the ride was immediate for me, bro.
The way this movie worked was because of the main character in another world. There's like 8 or 9 iterations of her that we see, and then eventually we see like an infinite amount of versions of her, of different things. And the
Yep.
version that we have in the movie that we're watching is the one that's unsuccessful. All the other versions we see of her are versions of her who are successful. And so like
Every time they got that branch that went off, what like what you're saying as well, one thing that they really capitalized on our one that we follow is that she's had like thousands of hobbies throughout the years, and like you were saying just now, where one version of herself took it and made it reality for them, she just made it a hobby for herself.
yeah.
And it was like, whoa, like that's awesome. Mike Davis says the movie was so crazy. Doctor Strange has some multiverse stuff to live
No, it
up
definitely
to.
does, bro. It definitely does. There's no like this movie didn't mess around.
No, this
Um
movie didn't mess around, and it handled it in a very like solid and
Sophisticated way.
cohesive way. Yeah,
Mhm,
yeah. Like, it was really easily understandable. It wasn't all over the place. It wasn't like,
mhm,
oh no, this is a magic box, and you only
mhm,
get, only the people that know Peter Parker. You know what I mean? Like,
mhm,
it wasn't like all that was kind of like that was our a weird introduction for the quote unquote multiverse.
mhm.
And I know a lot of people even had problems with the spells and everything, and Morbius has not done anything to make that easier to understand. But the way they handled it here was like, yo, no, there are many multiverses. But in the alpha verse, the alpha version of the main character that we follow, she is the one that actually created the capability of being able to transfer your consciousness across the multiverse.
Yep.
So I really liked that aspect of the multiverse as well.
Mhm.
Is that, yo, you're not walking through some freaking portal or anything like that and meeting your multiversal self.
Yeah.
You're literally like taking over their entire everything.
Yeah.
And it kind of left to question, where does that person go? Like, what happens to the person that was controlling? Well, I mean, it seemed like they just kind of went to sleep or just blacked out, like got put
Mhm.
into the sunken place and then just didn't realize what time was anymore.
And then all those again stemmed from technology. So how it worked was from what I understood is if you had the earpiece, there's earpieces that you put on. You start thinking about what version of yourself you want to imagine yourself as, and at some point, like while you're doing that, the things in your head, like on your ears, are looking for a universal counterpart for you to take over. And in order to be transferred into their conscious or grab their skills and take them, is you have to do something that they do, or something that kind of connects you with your other consciousness.
No.
Like
You have to
as
do what the you had
it
to
was
do
weird.
something that was just weird and random. Something that you would never do before because it was like the temporal connection to the multiverse
Okay,
that
okay,
you were
okay.
trying to connect to. So that's why Brett had it was like that's why he had to cut like for instance one of them was a paper cut and eat like four paper cuts between your fingers. And then he could utilize the dude that did gymnastics. So eat it was very equivalent exchange
Mhm.
based low key, except the equivalency was just some weird random thing uh that is just there to use it's anything like you gotta lick some snot from a person's mouth or you have to
Put like
freaking
sanitizer in your eyes, weird,
it
like
was
crazy
yeah.
stuff. And there's even more wild stuff. Like I don't even know,
Hmm.
like, and it's and this that whole part of the movie was hilarious to
Yeah,
watch. It really was. Um,
I agree with what you said to the point of I didn't expect this movie to be as funny as it was,
no, it was hilarious, dude.
especially with all of the things that was going on everywhere. That was one of the biggest things that I really liked about the dad, the actor that was the dad, not the grandpa, but the actual dad, is that he was one actor that was playing so many different like versions of himself basically like
Hmm.
one is a complete like pussy basically and then the other one is like a superhero type of guy and then you have another version of himself that's a movie star and it was just he everybody really did a great job of with handling that.
Yeah.
I also like just the notion of when it's the daughter and they're all in the room and the grandpa starts speaking English and she's like wait a minute, when did grandpa learn how to talk straight up English, yo? He's
Hmm.
been speaking nothing but, our native tongue my entire life.
Hmm. Uh, I don't even know where to go from this, bro. Like this movie was just so wild. So that's
Yeah.
kind of how the technology to go from universe to universe, or conscious to consciousness and skill to skill, kind of worked. Um,
Mhm.
as far as like the story,
Yeah, I was gonna say the reason for that though.
the reason for that though is because the main character, she created this technology, right?
Mhm.
And she started experimenting on younger people with it to like make it better and and there was one person that did it better than everyone else. And it just so happened to be it was her daughter. And at the very beginning of the movie, that she's the one that gets in the in an argument with her and her girlfriend. And
Mhm.
they leave, and then turns out her daughter's the one that's basically
Her daughter's the villain.
her daughter's the villain, going universe to universe, going after her mom, or pretty much for the most part.
Looking
And
for the one version of her mom
yeah,
that's like herself.
yeah, that's like herself. And
Which
uh,
is what everyone is looking for, by the way.
mhm,
We didn't put that in there.
mhm,
The husband that gets taken over by the other dude is part of like a a multiversal TVA, basically. Like
yeah,
they're the
they're
multiverse
basically at
support.
war with
Like
the daughter, basically.
yeah, and so the husband and the dad is like the leader. He controls the the multiversal TVA in this universe. I don't know if they had a name. I don't think they ever gave them a specific name. And then the husband is like, I don't even know. He's like
Like
second in
one of
command or
their top
something. Like,
agents. Yeah.
yeah. And he's basically just posted in a mobile defense base type of thing. Like it's a van, but it's like their mobile headquarters. And that's where he is throughout the entire movie while he's taking over the mind of the husband periodically. And then the grandpa also takes over the other grandpa's mind and comes in and just starts building different things onto the wheelchair and makes it like a rocket ship at some point. Like but I think that was just a notion of how far more advanced the Alpha universe was than ours. Like
Hmm.
the fact that the grandpa was just left alone in that waiting room for like 10 minutes, and he literally like put a coffee pot and a bunch of other things together on his wheelchair and turned it into a completely different thing.
Hmm. Um. Damn,
So
bro.
the so
Where did we go?
the daughter, who is Jacoby, I think that's what her name is, Jacoby.
Hmm.
And then Juan is the dad, and I can't think of what the mom's name is. But the sister, I keep calling her the sister. The daughter is literally looking for her mom because I believe she, well, we all think it's because she's trying to just get revenge and murder all of the different versions of her mom. I
Yep.
think that's what you thought too, because I was like, she's just gonna kill all of the moms so no one
Yeah.
can find which one the one is. And I kind of thought we were gonna just keep following different moms
We've
at
also
some
seen her
point.
die. We saw her die at least 4 times,
Yeah, the mom.
which was yeah. And it was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
and there was a moment where like, there's no way the movie's over. There's no way,
yeah.
right? Like, like this movie did so much to like trick you, and
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Keep you second guessing.
I felt like I was like a bystander being pushed through the many different multiverses of a person's life. It was insane.
And that's something that I also really enjoyed, was the fact that not only could they just go and take over someone's consciousness, but they also inherit all of their memories and their capabilities of what they can
Yep.
do. And I think that was one of the reasons why they needed um the earpieces and stuff, was to like really not get sidetracked with going into the person's entire life,
Hmm.
and to be able to come back and continue to channel those energies, right? Because once they lost the earpiece, they couldn't channel that fighting stuff anymore.
Mm-mm.
But that was the whole purpose of the daughter, was her mind was fractured so much that she could actually do everything, like, and just manipulate matter
Yeah.
on a molecular
She
level.
base Okay, so if you guys have seen the movie, what's the movie with Scarlett Johansson where
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking about too.
uh y-
Lucy.
Lucy, you basically become her at 100% of brain usage. Basically.
Hmm.
That's basically what you become. And that's what the daughter had become, and that's why she basically started going like destroying universes. And uh then the mom does the same thing to herself in order to help her
Hmm.
daughter, because she thinks that, you know what, this is something I have to do in order to like defeat my daughter and save the joy that in my world. And
But once she starts doing that, that's when the grandpa's like, "Yo,
yo,
we gotta
no,
stop her
you
from
can't.
doing
Yeah,
that, because
we
if
can't
she
have two of
becomes
them.
like Jacob, exactly, we cannot have two Jacobys out here." So then the whole TVA, or the Multiverse Authority Association, whatever you want to call them, they all start going for I can't think of her name. The mom. I have to look it up because I'm gonna get furious if
I
I
honestly
can't.
don't even know if they gave her a name. If I'm being honest, I don't even remember.
Evelyn. Yeah, her name's Evelyn.
Evelyn, that's right.
Evelyn, and then Waymond and Eleanor.
Hmm.
But Eleanor was actually also someone else. Eleanor is also Jacoby. So
They also called her Joy.
Joy.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know why it doesn't say Joy right
yeah.
here.
In the movie, she would call her daughter Joy. That's the
I think
only.
that's her
Yeah,
middle name. I think it's like Eleanor Joy or something like
yeah.
that. Because but yeah, so Joy, who is Jacoby, mind you, so don't forget that. Um she is looking for her mom, like you said, but the TVA people come because they realize that Evelyn is gonna break her mind like her daughter did, and then they're like, "Oh no, she's gonna immediately go on her daughter's side if that's what happens. She's gonna immediately go on Joy's side." And this movie, among all of the crazy multiversal and wacky shenanigans that were going on, it was actually really trying to tackle a true delicate subject among that community of I think I don't know what race they were, to be
It's a
honest.
very big Chinese thing. I
Yes.
know what you're talking about.
Yes, like that's how their whole culture like just
It's
that's
always
how
been that way, and it's
this movie is like the one The Matrix, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and Encanto all in one movie. Like, because it's following those generational curses, quote unquote, that falls suit onto the family of, hey, we have to make grandpa or grandma happy, so we can't live our lives at all. We have to do everything that they say, uh, tooth and nail to the umpteenth degree, and that's something that's very prevalent in this day and age for everybody. That's why I think Encanto is such a huge movie as well, is because that's kind of what everyone has been doing for the last couple of years, and now there's so many people that are trying to get out of that type of mentality of, okay, yes, I do love you, you are my parents, you are my grandparents, but just because I don't follow every single thing that you tell me to do doesn't mean that I don't love you, you know.
Hmm.
And that's something that I was not expecting for this movie to do, at all. I didn't expect it to get to that type of serious real level. I just thought it was going to be action packed movie. I thought it was just going to be action the whole time, like the one is, starring Jet Li. That's an amazing movie that everybody needs to see immediately. But it didn't do that. It actually had cohesive storytelling in the background of this other huge multiversal event that's happening.
Hmm. Hmm. I just hurt my ankle. Oh my god, it hurt.
I heard it. I heard it. It was
Oh
like,
my god. Oh, that hurts so much. Let's see. I'm trying to think because
so the mom breaks her mind because everyone wants her to kill Joy, but she's the only one that's like, no, we do not have to kill
I
Joy.
have
We
to
can
save my daughter.
save Joy.
Hmm.
Yeah. And that's kind of where the basis of the movie like really kicks in. Is that's when, like, from that point on, that's when the movie gets freaking amazing, and it never stopped after the point of, no, I'm not gonna take my daughter
A
out.
lot of
I'm gonna
crazy
save
fight
her.
scenes. A lot of great music.
Yeah. Things
Film
getting shoved
wise,
up buttholes and stuff. It was just
yeah,
wild.
being killed by dildos, insane. Like that,
I
like
forgot
literally,
about that.
yeah, insane. We see, we even see versions of the main characters as
I
rocks,
forgot all about that.
and they're
Yeah.
literally talking in subtitles with no sound.
Most prolific scene in a movie I have
Yeah,
ever seen
it was
ever.
intense. And then like they started running off each other off a cliff. I was like, oh my god, what is happening? This is a silent movie right now. Like it was insane.
It was
Uh,
incredible. It
yeah.
was incredible. That part of the movie alone, where they were just talking as rocks with just
Mhm.
subtitles and just nothing but the sound of the wind in the background,
Yes.
just sitting there looking at them, and then the camera starts panning to different rocks as they're talking. Like,
Yep.
I was like, this is freaking beautiful. No movie would be able to do something like this.
Yeah. They were
No
basically
movie.
on an Earth where people
Never
couldn't live on.
happened.
Yeah, it just never happened. So it was just a planet where people couldn't survive on. Uh,
Evolution never started.
yeah. There was even a world where people had uh hot
Hot
dogs for
dogs.
fingers. So they couldn't use their fingers. They had to use their toes for
Which
everything.
I loved that we didn't get. I loved that they seeded that in there, I guess you could say, is the
Yeah.
fact, like,
They even
yo,
like
it's not
proved as
just
to
hot
why it
dog
happened.
fingers. They also have feet. Like, like in this, Jamie Lee Curtis is playing the piano with her feet. Oh my god. This movie made me so uncomfortable at certain times,
It
but it
did.
was just
It did.
so amazing. Like, it was like, I don't even know what to do. So on the journey of trying to save her daughter's life, right?
Mhm.
She's breaking her mind more and more as she's fighting all of these people, just fracturing her mind, to the point of like where she like turns this way and she's in a different multiverse and turns back this way and now she's in a whole nother one. Turn just a whole bunch of crazy things were happening and going on. And when that's when she finds the hot dog thing and all the stuff and then the feet. Uh and then the weird thing to me was that the big bad weapon was an everything bagel.
It's very true. It's an everything
It was
bagel.
a
And
everything bagel that turned into like a black hole of non-existence.
it basically sucked every living part of you that you've ever done from every universe you're ever in into it. Uh,
Mm,
so
yeah.
basically, you become non-existent everywhere. Uh, and from that point on, that's when we kind of see Joy and our main character Evelyn kind of like really kind of bicker back and forth as to like why she's doing this. This is why I'm saving you. I'm not going to let you do this. Um, and it really dives into the relationship, and it kind of goes back and forth into Eleanor's decisions, like what kind of led her to get to where she's at now, versus how she got to somewhere else in another world, like whether that be kung fu, being a teppanyaki chef, or a pizza
Mhm.
person that throws signs, and like utilizing all those different skills at, at some point. Like
Yeah.
it was
And
crazy to
being
watch.
able to utilize every single skill like that, I loved that. I just loved it, man, and it was just so creative. Like we've never got to see this type of iteration of something happen,
Hmm.
and this the way that they handled this, it was fun, it was funny, and then it was actually like an impactful story if you really
Yep.
paid attention to it. Like I can see why this has been getting so much praise everywhere because it's so good. I'm gonna see this movie again 100%, like no cap.
Yeah, I would definitely watch this movie again. Mentally though, I am exhausted a little bit. Uh, it was uh, a lot of flashing lights. It was intense. It was really
Yeah,
intense. But for the
there
most part,
was a lot of flashing lights.
this movie
They
was
should have had
really fun to watch. A
like an
warning.
epilepsy warning on this one
Yeah,
for sure
they really should have, because
because we have not seen a movie with this much flashing
yeah,
like in a minute. Like I don't even know when the last time a movie was like this.
I think it
Like
was
maybe
Incredibles.
I was about to say maybe The Incredibles too. That's exactly what I was about to say.
Uh,
Yeah, because this definitely
trying to think.
I one thing that I did love was how much like I can't think of the style that it is, but how in like Jackie Chan influenced it
Yep.
felt like. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like everybody was fighting with everything. And that's a Jackie Chan thing 100%. Like he didn't create it by I don't think he created that art of fighting, but he definitely popularized it. Especially within Hollywood and all that type of stuff. And that's just when you're fighting, you take
Yeah, a
a
lot of Bruce
broom
Lee.
and start
Bruce Lee notes as
using
well.
it. And oh yes, yes, definitely. And you start whooping ass with like a freaking bottle. You just pick up a
Hmm.
bottle and just start swinging it around. At one point, a freaking dog is used as like a mace. I don't even know what was happening.
And then at one point we see Pinkies with bicep muscles just
Yeah. She was
destroying
like,
everyone.
"Ah," and it just flexed. I definitely thought they were gonna give us a skadoosh like
Hmm.
Kung Fu Panda reference,
Yeah,
since Poe's dad is the grandpa.
yeah.
Noodle, don't noodle. Like,
Hmm.
bruh, yeah.
Yep.
I was hoping we got a prolific quote from the dad, or I mean the grandpa, just
Hmm.
because that's like the type of actor he's always been in most
Yeah.
movies, is like they give him a really profound thing to say, or he's like the master or something like that. But he was like Loki the sub villain in this
Hmm.
movie, to be honest.
Yeah, there was several villains. There's probably only, really thinking about it, everyone except the first version that kind of introduced her to everything, and her husband, that from the world that she's in, were like the good guys. Everyone else, like at one
Oh
point, tried to kill her. Uh,
yeah.
uh,
But that's
uh,
also because they were like getting
they
their
were
they were
also
get
scared of her.
everyone was getting taken over by multiversal versions of the TVA as
Yeah.
well. And not only the TVA but also the cult that the girl had. So there was like TVA people and cult people all
Yep.
there, and it was really hard to tell who was who at the end. I'm not gonna lie. And then I was like, I didn't understand why the grandpa was like, no, let her go into the thing. But I think it was because she was killing herself. So
Yeah.
technically, it would have saved the multiverse. So that's why
Yeah.
he was trying to fight for that to happen.
Hmm.
Um, cinematically though, and like
Some intense
all of
like
that, it
camera
was
work, awesome.
beautiful and yeah.
Especially as it weaved in through different worlds, weaved in through the world where the everything donut was. And when you guys watch, you'll know what we're talking about.
Everything
Versus
bagel, my
where
guy.
everything bagel. to the world that we're in like the movie was crazy. It was great.
I really wish we got to see the everything bagel universe a little bit more
Hmm.
because I really liked I liked the whole white aspect, and then I wanted to know what was going on with like the cult, or I
Hmm.
guess like how did she get them to follow her? Like I just I wanted a little bit of that, but it didn't like take away from the movie by any
Yeah,
means.
a lot's happened in this movie, man. Like the dad or her husband from Alpha One.
Hmm.
Alpha One basically talked about, yeah, all the cattle
Well,
were
his name is
purged.
Alpha Waymond. That was his
Oh,
name.
Alpha Waymond, all the cattle were purged from his earth,
Yeah,
so
because of the
they
war.
had no dairy, and it's because of the war against his daughter. And so when he
No
was in the
cream
world, he was like,
cheese.
"Oh my god, it's cream cheese on this bagel. I'm gonna try it." And he was like, "Oh yes, bagel, cream cheese, great." And then he
And they just
chugs a whole milk. I was like, "Oh my god, yo,
I was like, that's so much dairy product, my guy. I would be on the toilet for the rest of my life just drinking milk like that and eating like all, and it was like hella cream cheese on that bagel too. It wasn't like a little bit, like that thing was double stuffed with cream cheese, my guy. I loved this movie.
this movie was
Probably
good,
one of
man.
my favorite movies I've seen in a really long
This is
time.
probably one of the most wild movies I've ever seen.
You need to watch Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
This is definitely one of the most wild movies I've ever seen in my life, hands down. Uh,
Yeah.
Definitely one of the best movies of the year so far. Or at least it's
Hmm.
in my top 5, top 10 for sure for this year. Um,
I don't even know. I can't even think of the movies that we've seen this year for some reason.
and I can't either, but it's in that list. I can feel.
Yeah, it is. It's 100% in that list. It's at the top of my list because I can't even think of any other movies. I think all
Mhm.
the movies that we've only seen, like what Morbius and a couple of other things. I don't think anything too.
Everything else that I've seen has probably just been on Netflix or like the shows that we've
Hmm.
seen, you know. So, um,
Yeah, literally.
but
Yeah, because it was just like Peacemaker. That was the only thing that was taken over so
mhm,
far this year. But as far as yeah, as far as this movie goes, 10 out of 10, I must recommend, like, you guys gotta see this movie if you have not seen it
yep.
already.
How would you put it on the Marvel Bros scale? I mean, you said a
I'm
10
giving
out
this
of
a
10.
5, bro.
Giving
I'm
us a
giving it a
5?
5. No cap. Like, I'm giving it a 5. Um, the only time I've had so much fun and been so invested in a movie like that's been like this one is with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Mhm.
It's that's really the only movie that like really got me into a way of like, yo, what are they freaking like yarn people? You know what I mean? Like Rick and Morty does that really well
Yeah,
of controlling the multiverse, but I've never seen it done as good
yeah,
as this was. Like this embodied all the action and all the
yeah.
humor that we didn't know we needed.
I'd probably give it a 5 out of 5 too, man. The experience was just unlike anything I've ever like experienced in a long time. If even if I've ever experienced it, the action was on point. The kung fu hints from Bruce
Hmm.
Lee, Jackie Chan, the stunts, audio, the visuals, the different camera work going from universe to universe, person to person, conscious to conscious was all visible, and we watched it all unfold. And then not only that, the whole rock like sequence was just one of the most intense things that I have ever seen on screen.
Yeah.
And uh the ending for this movie, it came full circle with like what the original argument was about. Then like they talked about the party, and then it ended with the party. And for
Hmm.
everything to kind of end the way it did was, I thought it was beautiful. Like
Yeah,
there's really no other way to put it. It was beautiful, man. And
I agree.
I'm glad we were able to check this out in theaters. I really am.
Yeah. I really wish that we would have saw this sooner because being able to be in like a full theater with other people that were also experiencing it
I
would
don't
have
know.
been
People were
really,
excited for this movie though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, at least in
I don't
Merced.
know. Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Like, cause
I
I
mean, this
even
one did pretty good. Our trailer reaction for this did pretty good
it
too.
did, but like for me, I assumed this was going straight to VOD. Remember, we had the whole
Mm,
conversation before we even
yeah.
bought tickets. I was like, dude, it's out. I thought it was only available in like bigger
Yeah.
theaters and on demand. I didn't even know it was available
Hmm.
nationwide. So and I don't know if it was like the marketing for this movie or if it was, I just
I
didn't
don't
think
even
about
know
it.
when this movie
But
came out.
it had to have been like the last 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm really glad we watched it, man. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh yeah.
You guys have to go check this movie out if you guys haven't already. And again, it's titled Everything Everywhere All at Once, and it's definitely one of the most crazy movies you're ever going to see of like this year.
Could you imagine this like ruining our experience for Doctor Strange because they don't handle the multiverse correctly? And we're like, oh no, this is terrible. No,
No,
no, we
it's
have
not
a way
everything
better
everywhere. It
understanding.
can't.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
This is not how the multiverse works, clearly.
Yeah, but man, 5 out of 5, both of us. It's a perfect score. It's the first
Yeah,
time I think here
yeah,
in
it
Marvel
is.
Bros
I think
history so
so.
far. Uh, but yeah, man, I think that's about all I got for this
For
one so
sure.
far. Um, if you guys have watched this movie, let us know down in the comments what you guys are thinking. Uh, if you guys think, weren't a fan, let us know what you guys think about this movie. We want to know what you guys' opinions about this one. Because this one, I definitely could see how it could divide potential audiences. Because
Yes.
if you're not a fan of this style of movie, you're not going to like it. Because this movie, a lot happens. And you have to be able to kind of take it all in for what it is and really kind of understand how it
And
is
not
and how it's explained and not be like, how does that make sense? So
if you hyperfixate on certain things, it just will not. You won't appreciate the movie as much because this is not a movie that you hyperfixate on the little details about. You just appreciate the whole.
mhm,
Kind of like a everything bagel.
yeah.
And with all that being said, you guys, if you have anything else you would like us to check out or react to, whether it be a trailer, movie, or video game, or you have some other crazy multiversal transpiring movie that we haven't seen yet, drop it in the comment section down below and we'll try to get to it as soon as we can.
Oh yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in with us on another amazing movie review and episode of Marvel Bros. And we hope to see you on the next one.
Oh yeah.
Excelsior.
To support Marvel Bros, all you gotta do is visit our website at www.marvelbros.com and buy some merch. Represent the superfan.
Or you can join our Patreon to get early access to content, patron-only scoops, giveaways, private Q&As, and those sacred watch parties.
We appreciate you guys. We'll catch you on the next one.
Excelsior.
On today's pop culture news update,
And on today's pop culture news update,
on